This is the Eddy. It's a triple stereo VCA mixer with built-in compression, distortion, and feedback in 8 HP. There is a separately available 4 HP expander that breaks out a lot of these inner signals. I had 3 specific use cases in mind when I designed this. One is as a triple stereo synth voice mixer, nice and clean, also with a sidechain input. 2, as a compressed drum submixer with distortion and compression. And 3, as a no input mixing feedback playground, especially to go with the boundary layer and an ability to patch up weird feedback percussion voices just with the boundary layer and the Eddy. I have this Eddy patched up to mix together 3 voices from the 3 body, 2 stereo pairs, and a mono bass voice. These switches can turn each voice on or off, or invert it to deal with phase issues or for specific feedback purposes. We can unplug CV. We can unplug CV and use the attenuator as a level control. Otherwise, it attenuates the incoming CV. We have a 4th input that can either be a mono line level input or a sidechain input. We have 3 different mix buses. The regular mix, which is pretty clean, the compressed mix, and a heavy distortion. We have a 4th input that can be switched between a mono unity gain 4th input or a sidechain input. We have an envelope coming from a kick drum going into the sidechain, running through this VCA up here. As I bring it up, we can hear it starting to duck the synthesizers. Now it's bringing the kick drum. On this top Eddy, we have a clean kick drum patched with the angle grinder and some boundary and boundary layer into this 3rd channel here. Notice there's nothing plugged into the first 2 channels. If we bring them up, we have feedback normalized there. The top one is pretty high pitched, around 3K. The second one around 1K. And actually, if we pull that kick drum, we have a 3rd one down around 60 to 80 hertz. We plug in the kick drum envelope there, we can get kind of a funny crude kick drum. If we plug in some more CVs into the other feedback paths, we can patch kind of a crude drum voice. If we bring in our distorted kick drum as well and play with some of our envelope lengths, we can get something interesting happening, especially if we put it in distorted mode. We can bring our synths back in and play with the amount of compression or ducking that's happening. Each channel provides up to 2x gain, and then the 3rd channel has a header on the back so you can plug line level inputs into it. The 4th channel has something similar. Let's talk about the Cascade. It provides individual outputs for many of the signals present within the Eddy. If we go down to our bottom Eddy and we flip the Cascade switch to channel, The top output will give us the output of channel 1 to use it as an individual stereo VCA. The same can be done with the second channel or the third channel. Below that, we have the direct output to the mix, the distorted output, and the compressed output. If we flip the switch on the Cascade to EQ, it gives us the direct outputs of each of the bandpass filters. So, because these bandpass filters are mostly intended for feedback, they're actually located after the distortion, so they're always distorted. This is the top one, which is somewhere around 2 kilohertz. The middle one is around 1 kilohertz. And the low is between 60 to 80. Here's a little percussion skiff with the Ultra Kick, Weston 8110, and some nibblers and bit mix for driving the sequence. I wanted to show what it's like just to push the compressor and the Eddy and just slamming some drums in. Here's our clean sounding drums. I think even though you can barely see it on the peak meter, I think we're already starting to clip the clean mix bus. So let's go to the compressed one, which should never ever clip. And you can hear what it sounds like when you start to balance and push different sounds against each other. Open up our kick drum so it sort of overwhelms everything. Try to push it out of the way with the other sounds. Dial it back to something more reasonable. All right, let's listen to the distorted version. With the distortion, you really might want to dial everything back. Bring in some feedback. Check out the compressed version again. Now, this distorted version's pretty awesome, but it lacks a bit in clarity and punch. So now let's use the Cascade and let's mix together both the distorted and compressed versions. So now we're listening to the compressed version, and now let's bring up distortion to taste. Play with the length of the feedback. Notice we have nothing plugged into the second channel. Let's bring the tempo up a bit. Let's push into that compression and distortion. Overwhelm everything with kick drum one more time. See those red lights really get in that compressor slamming. Now let everything else breathe a little bit. Also, when you open up the feedback, thanks for watching.